Go
Just
ahead.
as the naturally pure crystal assumes shapes and colors of objects placed near it, so the yogi's mind, with its totally weakened modifications, becomes clear and balanced and attains the state devoid of differentiation between knower, knowable, and knowledge. This culmination of meditation is samadhi. The mind of the yogi with its totally weakened modifications means that the yogi has cultivated one thought form at the cost of all others. When you cultivate one alone, all the other impressions become weaker and finer. To give a physical example, if you concentrate on the development of the brain alone, you are apt to ignore the other parts of the body. This reminds me of a story by H.G. Wells, where the future generation is described as having only a big head with little limbs like the roots of a potato. Because the people will not use the limbs, there will be no need for the limbs. These people will just think, I must have food, and the food will come. No need even to use a hand to flip a switch, because the switch will be activated by thought. In fact, science is devising cars now where you sit in the car and say, all right, start, go ahead, be quick, hold on, stop. And even that seems to be unnecessary now that they have printed circuits. If you want to go to Boston, take the Boston card, put it into the car's computer, sit quietly, and soon you are in Boston. All you will have to do is buy those cards. Wherever you want to go, put the card into the machine and just do anything you want in the car. Talk business, chat or watch television. Then the car will remind you, sir, we are in Boston. That's all. No part of the body will be put into use, so it will slowly reduce in size. That is not only true of the physical body, the same is true of the mind. If you develop one idea through constant meditation, all other thoughts and desires will gradually die away. In our daily lives, we see that. If you are interested in someone, you think of that person day and night. If you open a book, your mind will not go into the subject, but instead will think of that person. You will gradually lose interest in all other people and things. The same is true in yoga practice. Our concentration and meditation should be like that. In the ancient Hindu scriptures, we come across stories which illustrate this point. For example, there's the story of Valmiki, the highwayman. Sage Narada was passing by, and as usual, Valmiki accosted him and said, "Hey, what do you have in your pockets?" "Oh, I don't even have pockets, sir." "What a wretched man. I've never seen a man with nothing. You must give me something, otherwise I won't spare your life." Then Narada said, "All right, I will try to get something for you, but don't you think it's a sin to harm innocent people?" "Oh, you Swamis talk a lot about sin. You have no other business, but I have to maintain my wife, children, and my house. If I just sit and think of virtue, our tummies are not going to be satisfied. I have to get money somehow, by hook or crook." "Well, all right, do it. If that's your policy, I don't mind. But you say that you must feed your wife and children by hook or crook. You should know that it is a sin and you will have to face the reactions of it." "Well, I don't bother about that." "You may not bother, but since you are committing sins to provide your wife and children, you'd better ask them whether they are willing to share the reactions of the sins also." "Undoubtedly they will. My wife always says we are one and my children love me like anything. So naturally, all I do for their sake will be shared by them." "Well, maybe so, but don't just tell me. Go find out for sure." "Will you run away?" "No." "Okay, you stay here. I will run there and find out." So he ran to his house and said, "Hey, this man asked me a funny question just now. He says that I am committing sins, and certainly there's no doubt about that. But I am doing it for your sake. When you take a share of the food, will you take a share of the sin also?" The wife answered, "It is your duty as a husband and father to maintain us. It is immaterial to show to us how you do it. We are not responsible. We didn't ask you to commit sins. You could do some proper work to bring us food. Anyway, that's your business and your duty. We are not going to bother whether it's right or wrong. We won't take a share of your sins. My God, my beloved children, how about you? As mommy says, Dad. What a dirty family. I thought you were going to share everything with me. You are going to share only the food and nothing else? I don't even want to see your faces. He ran back and fell at Narada's feet. Swamiji, you have opened my eyes. What am I to do now? Well, you have committed a lot of sins. You have to purge them all. Please tell me some way. So Narada gave Valmiki mantra initiation. All right. Can you repeat Rama Rama? What's that? I've never heard of it. I'm just an illiterate person. I can't repeat it. Can you give me something easier? Oh, what a pity. Let's see. Look at this. He pointed at a tree. What is it? It's a Mara tree. All right. Can you repeat it? Sure, that's easy. Fine. Sit in a quiet place and just go on repeating Mara, Mara, Mara. Is that all? That will save me from all my sins? Certainly. Well, sir, I believe you. You have already enlightened me quite a lot. You seem to be a good Swami. I'll begin right here and now. I don't want to waste any time. So he just sat under a tree and went on repeating Mara, 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 Rama, Rama, Rama. See? Mara, Mara soon became Rama, Rama. He sat for years like that until at least an anthill was formed completely covering his body. Yes, because he was so deeply interested in that, he forgot everything else. Even his body became benumbed, as if the fuse were blown in the main powerhouse. This is what happens in Samadhi. So after a long, long time, somebody just passed and happened to disturb the anthill, and the saint Valmiki emerged. Later, he got the divine vision of Lord Rama's life and wrote the entire epic story of the Ramayana. Even now, you can read Valmiki's Ramayana. What is to be learned from this story? He just concentrated on that mantra and forgot everything else. All the sins slowly dried up for want of nourishment and died away. If you do not pour water on your plant, what will happen? It will slowly wither and die. Our habits will also slowly wither and die away if we do not give them an opportunity to manifest. You need not fight to stop a habit. Just don't give it an opportunity to repeat itself. That's all you have to do. Any kinds of habit can be easily removed this way. And that is possible by cultivating one proper habit. The mind must have something to hold on to. So you stick to one thing and all the other things die. Now to finish the sutra, the mind of the yogi with its totally weakened modifications attains a state in which there can be no differentiation between the knower, knowable, and knowledge. The yogi whose vrittis have thus become powerless by the cultivation of one particular vritti ceases to distinguish between the knower, knowable, and knowledge, or meditator, meditated upon, and meditation. In meditation, you are conscious of all three: subject, object, and process of meditation. But at this point, the three become one. Either the object becomes subject or subject becomes object. And when there is no subject-object separation, there is no process either. The mind is completely absorbed and loses itself in the idea or object of meditation. Patanjali gives the example of an object near a crystal. If you put a red flower near a crystal, the crystal itself appears to be red like the flower. It becomes one with that. It accepts that. Likewise, the mind accepts the idea of your meditation and takes that form. I feel like that was such a good explanation. I have nothing really to add to it. I do want to read the other commentary because sometimes I like with Jagannath Carrera says. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Read a little more.
Yep. Excuse me.
Oh, it's much shorter. Just as the naturally pure crystal assumes shape and colors. This is Pada 1, Sutra 41. Just as the naturally pure crystal assumes shapes and colors of objects placed near it, so the yogi's mind, with its totally weakened modifications, becomes clear and balanced and attains the state devoid of differentiation between knower, knowable, and knowledge. This culmination of meditation is samadhi. Why would we wish to experience a state devoid of differentiation between knower, knowable, and knowledge? As was mentioned in the commentary on Sutra 117, perception requires three factors: the knower, an object to perceive, and the act of knowing. This threefold process is used for obtaining ordinary knowledge, but is insufficient for experiencing subtle aspects of Prakriti and for attaining of self-realization. Samadhi is the zenith of the meditative process in which the differentiation between knower, knowable, and knowledge dissolves. It is state in which insight is gained through union with the object of contemplation. The mind, steady and clear as a crystal, temporarily gives up its self-identity and seems to vanish as it allows the object of meditation alone to shine forth. In the next three sutras, Sri Patanjali expands the discussion of samadhi by examining two of the four samprajnata samadhis presented in Sutra 117, Vitarka and Vichara. Vitarka samadhi is divided into two categories, with sa and beyond, near examination. In the same way, vichara can be either with or beyond insight. Let's read 117 and refresh our memory. I want to see what it says. Oh, 117 is the really long one. Cognitive samprajnata samadhi is associated with forms and is attended by examination, insight, joy, and pure I amness. Okay, I am. So maybe we'll use that today. So vitarka is examination. The word translated as examination can also be interpreted as debate, reasoning, or question. So, in which the focus is on objects or elements that are tangible to the senses. Okay, so we'll start by examining something that's tangible. And then vichara is insight, which can be translated as reflection, inquiry, introspection, investigation. It's a more refined form of inquiry. It is more refined form of inquiry than vitarka and is performed on the tanmatras. Like vitarka, there is no asking of questions. It is a matter of the mind attuning itself to the level of the subtle elements. So we go from a tangible element to a subtle element, and then joy, which is ananda. This samadhi is the experience of the pure sattvic aspect of the mind, which is beyond the subtle elements. So we'll start with something that's tangible, and then we'll play with something that's subtle, and then we'll play with our joy, which will lead us to our pure I amness. Easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? We'll play with it. We'll see what happens with our mind. We'll see what happens with our brain. Anybody want to share anything? Any insight or meaning coming through for you? Related to the sutra or not? Sometimes where we gather and we start talking about these things, right? Things that are sort of beyond us. And just like he said, our mind is so absorbed in something in life that even though we've just read the sutra and we're talking about the sutra, your mind is still on the thing that has consumed you or that you are consumed by. So if you want to share that, that's okay too. And we we can apply a little meditation to it if you wanna try. Anything?
I have been reading some physics books for the lay person because
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the math or the training to read the physics books.
Uh-huh.
But one of the things that, he talks about the difference between knowing and knowledge, et cetera, et cetera. And so one of the things I've been trying to wrap my mind around is the concept that there really are not things. There are interactions between different kinds of energies, and the energy changes depending on the interaction. And you can momentarily identify something as a thing, but if you look at it closely, basically what you're seeing are interactions between energies, and the energies can take different forms, different momentary forms, and of course that places you right in the center of, there's no such thing as an objective observer because you're an energy mass that's interacting with other things as well. So and there's no such thing as knowledge as a thing because again, it's energy interacting with other energies. There's no such thing as time as an objective reality because it depends on where you are and what kind of interactions are going on. So, that I am not phrasing this correctly because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I'm trying to understand it. And to me, this resonates with that. It all comes together and it's devoid of object and object being observed, object being observed and the nature of the observation. It's devoid of that. They basically can be viewed as energies interacting. Now,
Mm-hmm.
shut up.
No, this is good. This is good stuff because the text is asking us to take something that we see as tangible, like a real thing,
Right.
and start to move our mind. So what you're saying is making sense. It's like an apple is only an apple because I perceive it to be so. And it becomes real in like it becomes like a real apple in my believing that it's a real apple. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
like it becomes the whole miracle of life, the whole miracle of existence. It's like is a thought. First there was the word, and the word was God, and then because I believe something to be so, the things become.
Right. At least within that momentary framework, which is
Right?
pretty nifty.
Yeah. And then when we think about like time and space not being linear, that
Yeah.
there are dimensions to time and space, and that all things are happening at the same time or in the same moment, and that we can move through space and time. When we master the mind, we can move through space and time. We're not locked in this moment. It allows for like for me, this is the meaning that it gives me. It allows for me to create a whole new world with my thoughts and let my actions follow. So I can, I don't know. I don't know that it's that simple, but I have no other way to sort of like untangle my thoughts. It's like, it's almost like I use visualization, I use my imagination, and I start to think of things in a way where they're less rigid, they have less weight, they have less, I think on them so that they're not tangible. I take the tangible and I move it to the subtle. So now things become subtle things. It's almost like, when someone says just drop it. You're so stressed out about something, you've been hammering about it in your head, and you're just trying to figure out all the ins and outs of this thing. And it's like, it's not until you totally drop it and say, I'm just going to walk away from this thing. And then all of a sudden, the problem sort of like starts to resolve because you've dropped it. Like you've dropped the issue, you've dropped the topic. So what if I took the apple, right? And I dropped the apple. I dropped the idea of the apple. I dropped the name apple. I dropped the smell, the taste, the sounds of an apple. And it becomes this sort of subtle energy. It becomes the possibility of an apple,
Yeah.
right?
Where in some states it can be, but in other states it's not
Yes,
necessarily, or it's perceived as something completely different by another energy state.
true. An apple becomes whatever, manzana,
Mm, yeah.
depending who you ask, right? I'm just trying to fit it into like an actual exercise.
Oh, okay. Well, good luck. I can barely talk, so good luck with that.
So I take the tangible apple, I turn it into a subtle apple. It becomes the subtle energy. And then I become the apple, and the apple becomes me. Or the energy of apple, let's just say,
Yeah.
right? It
Yeah.
seems to me like this is knower, knowable, and knowledge. So the knower is me. I know that to be an apple, right?
Yes.
And then it's knowable that a thing like this could be deemed as an apple, but not necessarily. There's the potential of edible fruit that regenerates through a seed, that offers nutrition. I don't know, I'm trying to go to like more subtle places. And then when I become the apple and the apple becomes me and we're one, this is this idea of knowledge.
Mhm.
Did that make sense?
Okay, I
I
got to
don't
think
even
about
know.
that.
I'm just going with it.
I, it makes me think of the way, because I I don't even know how to put it in words either, but everything that happens manifests so quickly in physical pain in my body, like real physical pain. And I know now that I know it's energetic stuff and emotional stuff, like that knowledge to me has made a huge difference, where I really used to think like this locks, right? And I used to walk around thinking it's muscle, like a whole different idea of what was going on in my body. And bringing that awareness now, where I realize like I need to breathe deeper and I just need to move in a certain way. And it's not my shoulder that I need to move. I just need to move my whole body, because there's this stuff, whatever it is. And sometimes I can tell exactly what it is. And sometimes I have no idea of what the hell it is, but it's really always the same stuff. It's like energetic stuff, stuff blocking in my body from stress, whether it's the apple or the orange or the banana.
Or the shoulder.
And allowing, and I really used to think I have an injury, like a specific injury where there's something wrong. And it comes down to like just all these blockages, and being able to let go of there's an injury in my shoulder, and instead moving stuff energetically through the body and releasing that. This kind of relates to that to me. Like when I used to get stuck with the idea that I have an injury in my shoulder, that pain just stayed there. And letting go of that and just moving stuff, whatever that stuff is, which is always energetically, like it's always blockages.
Yeah.
Then I'm able to move away from that, and I'm able to release, and my body's able to heal and let go. And then it happens again, which technically, like, I'm not really learning anything apparently, because I keep going back to this. Every time something terrible really happens, that's where it goes. But the knowledge is, I guess, part of it is awareness too, to be able to like just get that stuff moving. And then it's not one thing, like how you were saying, I become I don't know what words you use, like the apple is me, or like you become one, instead of getting stuck in that one part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know about Louise Hay?
Yes.
Oh, Louise.
She's like the first Google.
Oh my God, Louise Hay, shoulders represent our ability to carry our experience in life joyously. We make life a burden by our attitude. So she gives this beautiful mantra or affirmation. I choose to allow all my experiences to be joyous and loving. So if you want it, you can meditate on that today.
I'm gonna write it down.
Yeah. This is like a quick, there's like a quick little handbook. You can go to it and be like, does something hurt you, for example? Someone else have something that hurts? Like my neck hurts today on the left side. Right side is paternal, masculine, so your father's lineage. Left side is feminine, so this is all your mother's lineage. So you can look to see what burdens you've been carrying from your mother's lineage. And this is the blockage that you can work with in your shoulder. Like emotionally, energetically, mentally, you start to work with mom's burdens or the burden you placed on yourself because of a belief you have about, you start to follow your thought pattern and you start to unravel them. It's really beautiful. So today's Sunday, 4 p.m., somatic movement and tapping. It's totally free. This is really good for moving heavy, stuck energies.
Can you read that shoulder?
Yeah. The affirmation or the whole thing?
The affirmation.
I choose to allow all my experiences to be joyous and loving.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we want to share anything else? Should we start breathing and maybe do a little bit of,
it's 7:17 already.
Yeah, let's do a little bit of, so we've been working, I'll share with you the book that I have. I became really interested in like Taoist practices. So the breath that we've been working with, like lung breath, kidney breath. Yesterday we did liver breath. It's part of your, hold on, sorry. I gotta find it. It's part of like a cycle. You would do the 6, they call it the 6 healing sounds. So you would do these 6 sounds as a grounding exercise. So I've been offering them one at a time. If you like them, we'll continue. So we've done lung, we've done kidney, and we're gonna do liver. And then the following are heart, spleen, the triple warmer, and then you do them all together, and this becomes like a really nice way to ground yourself, something to do early in the morning or at night. But anyway, if you're interested in what I've been sharing, that's what it is. Tao Tantric Arts for Women. And there's all sorts of like really good exercises, weird exercises, for sure, weird, but if you're a woman and you want to understand yourself and your body and you want to move through things like in a spiritual way, in an ancient Taoist kind of way, it's a good one. Okay, so I'll read the instructions and we'll do it together. The liver sound. Smile into the liver and scan for any contracted anger or pent-up steam. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms up, and stretch the liver on the right by leaning to the left. Look up and blow out the liver sound with back of your tongue near your palate, releasing excess steam and anger. Clear the space around you by lowering your hands with your palms facing out. Stretch the tendons in your hands. Breathe in green light and fill the liver with kindness. So should we just do liver? Should we do all 3? Let's just do liver, right?
Yeah, it's already 7:20.
Okay. All right. Sit up nice and tall and see if you can either fake it till you make it, right? Or look for that inner smile. So you may not have a smile on your face, although it's encouraged and invited.
I'm gonna mute everyone else.
No problem. Hi Pam. Look at Kramer. And start to turn that smile inwards towards yourself. However it is that you have shown up, whatever blockages, emotional, mental, physical, that you're experiencing, smile on yourself regardless of them. Whatever you've been feeling, whatever range of emotions have shown up for you today or this week, and just smile on yourself. Accept yourself wholly with tenderness, kindness, and love. And think on your liver, the place that is holding your frustration and your anger. And breathe deep into the liver and see yourself smiling on your liver, offering this green light of kindness to your liver. And thank your liver for all the work it does. Thank your liver for the anger it holds for you. And imagine that your liver is letting that steam go, letting that anger go, letting that heat go. And when you're ready, sit up nice and tall and inhale the arms around the neck. Interlace your hands above your head. Press the palms up towards the ceiling. And on your next exhale, lean over towards, what are we leaning? We're leaning over towards the left. And with the SH sound, exhale like you're releasing steam from the liver. As you inhale, imagine green light feeding kindness, enveloping kindness, cultivating kindness throughout the body, straight to the liver. And as you exhale, lean over. And just give permission for some of your anger to release. One more. Green loving light, and exhale, releasing steam and heat. And then as you lower the hands, you can lower them the way the book indicates. I like to clear my field. I like to imagine that whatever energy is stuck around me out of habit or for whatever reason, I sort of push it away. So I cleanse myself, I cleanse my aura, and I push, clearing my space, clearing my mind, clearing my body. And tune into the breath. And it's a nice way, we'll do as Patanjali says, and we'll bring the attention to the tip of the nose. And just by bringing your attention to the tip of the nose, you can tell if your breath is slow, smooth, and steady, or if it's short, shallow, and choppy. And you yourself, with your own mind, with your own knowing, with your own feeling, can adjust the breath, where you start to feel the peace of your breath, the love of your breath. You start to feel the breath open and expand. And maybe on the inhale, it feels cool. Maybe on the exhale, it feels a little warmer. And really tune into that sensation of cool inhale, warm exhale. And slowly invite the breath a little deeper Imagine the inhale at the tip of the nose, and then the back of the throat, and then the very center of your chest where your heart lives, your heart center. And then invite that breath right back out, following the same path. The coolness of the inhale at the tip of the nose, back of the throat, center of the heart, back of the throat, warmth at the tip of the nose. And slowly, when you're ready, you can let the tip of the nose go. Draw the breath to the center of the chest and imagine a point of light, beautiful, bright point of light. And as you inhale, this point of light gets a little bigger. And as you exhale, this point of light gets a little smaller. It's as if it becomes more brilliant on the inhale and more subtle on the exhale. And really allow yourself to drop into the very center of this light. And as I sit in the very center of this light, I can feel the brilliance expand around me and then contract like it's embracing me, hugging me. And as I drop into the center of my heart, I notice that this bright light is like a beautiful floating lotus. And the lotus flower blooms on my inhale and contracts on my exhale. And with each breath, the petals of the lotus widen all around me, and I see myself at the very center, the very heart of this lotus flower, and as I exhale, its petals protect me and close in around me, never losing their brilliance. And if you're ready for a mantra, if your lotus can also hold a mantra, you can have the pureness of I am or Soham. On the inhale, I, as the petals of the lotus open up around you. M, as the petals of the lotus protect you and hold you. Inhale, so, the expansion of the lotus. Exhale, hum, the contraction of this lotus. So, hum, so, hum, so, hum. Keeping the eyes closed, really see yourself in the center of this lotus. Like you are the heart of the lotus. And see yourself enveloped in this beautiful, soft light of the lotus. And this light is protecting us, protecting you. If there's a wish, a prayer, a sankalpa in your heart that you would like to set now, take a moment. And then see this wish, this prayer, this sankalpa, your intention. See it like a seed. And as we get ready to end our meditation, we draw the light back inwards, draw the petals of the lotus inwards. And see your sankalpa protected by this light, held so kindly by the flower. And the lotus lives right at the center of your heart. You can slowly start to close in the petals, bringing yourself back to the here and now. Knowing a beautiful seed has been planted within you, and that you have access to it anytime, always. And come back to your breath, noticing what it feels like at the tip of the nose. Noticing any shifts in the body, in the brain, in the thought pattern, in the rhythm of the breath. And send out a silent wish for all those on the call with us this morning. And send out a wish for all of us right now, the whole world. That wellness and peace, and that justice reign, and that we find a way. And start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, deep breath in. And then on the exhale, maybe you want to open your mouth and let out a sound. Move your head around. Another big breath. Maybe another noise. Another big breath. Maybe reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Shake out the fingers. Shake out the hands as you bring the arms down. Maybe